Attention passionate Seattle SEAHAWKS fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC West and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Seattle Seahawks' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Seattle Seahawks fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Seattle SEAHAWKS fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. What if I told you that the Seahawks might be on the verge of pulling off one of the most shocking and game-changing trades of the NFL season? That's right. Rumors are swirling around that the Cincinnati Bengals, who are currently struggling mightily, especially on their defensive side, are considering moving one of their most explosive offensive weapons, Ja'Marr Chase. And if this deal goes down, it could completely reshape the NFC West and, honestly, the entire NFC playoff picture. The Seahawks, sitting comfortably at 10-3 and looking poised to make a serious Super Bowl push, could become even more dangerous with a player like Chase joining their ranks. This isn't just talk. It's a potential blockbuster that could turn the Seahawks into a true dynasty contender, and I'm here to give you all the details on what's brewing behind the scenes. Let's start by breaking down what's happening with the Bengals. As many of you know, Cincinnati is in a bit of a rebuild mode right now, especially on defense. After Burrow's injuries and the overall chaos they've experienced this season, sources close to the team say they're open to trading Chase in exchange for a first-round pick plus a young edge rusher. The Bengals are weighing their options, mainly because their cap situation isn't the best. They're sitting on about $11 million in cap space, and they're desperate to rebuild their offensive line, which has been a weak spot all year with a PFF grade of just 58. They're also looking to shed some salary, freeing up about $23 million by moving Chase, who currently earns around $30 million annually. The idea is to prioritize their cap and rebuild the trenches, especially their offensive line, which desperately needs an overhaul if they want to compete again in the tough AFC North. Now, why Chase? Well, despite the chaos surrounding Cincinnati, Chase has been nothing short of spectacular this season. In 12 games, he's hauled in 91 receptions for over 15 yards and 5 touchdowns, according to advanced metrics like PFF, where he's sitting at an impressive 91. 2 grade. His EPA per target is around 0.35, showing just how efficient he is when the ball is in his hands. And his yards after catch, averaging 6.2 yards per reception, he's a true game changer in space. That kind of explosive playmaker would inject a turbo boost into the Seahawks' offense, which already boasts DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Imagine Geno Smith or even Sam Howell when he's under center, with a weapon like Chase stretching the field, turning every deep route into a potential highlight reel. It's the kind of upgrade that transforms a good offense into an elite one. Chase's career stats are also eye-popping. Over his 3 seasons, he's accumulated 486 receptions for 440 yards and 51 touchdowns. He averages around 87. 5 yards per game and has totaled over 200 yards including his return yards. His ability to produce big plays is what makes him such a threat. He's already racked up 16 touchdowns of 20-plus yards in his career, making defenses think twice before giving him space. His injury history is minimal, with a knee sprain in Week 4 that caused him to miss 2 games, but he returned strong, including a 10-catch, 149-yard game against the Ravens in Week 2. If Chase had been on the Seahawks this season, especially during their playoff push, he could have added an extra 200 yards or more in deep routes, boosting the offense even further. So what about Cincinnati's side? They're currently 4-9 with a defense leaking points, 28 per game to be exact, and a cap situation that's not ideal. They're also in desperate need of rebuilding their offensive line, which ranks poorly at 58, 3 PFF grade. Moving Chase makes sense from a cap perspective and a rebuild standpoint. They'd get a first-round pick, potentially a top 10 or top 15 selection, and a young edge rusher to help bolster their pass rush. But it's a tough pill to swallow, losing a generational talent like Chase, especially when their offense has struggled to find consistency. Still, from Cincinnati's perspective, they're trying to build for the future, and shedding some big contracts and acquiring draft capital is part of that plan. The question is whether they can rebuild their offensive line quickly enough, and whether the new pieces they acquire will be enough to make them competitive again in the AFC North, which is shaping up to be a brutal division. especially with teams like Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland fighting for playoff spots. Now, let's explore the potential impact on the Seahawks. Seattle is sitting pretty at 10-3 and firmly in the NFC West race. Their offense has been solid, averaging about 270 passing yards per game, but they've been somewhat limited by injuries at the tight end position, especially after Arroyo's injury in December 2025. Adding a player like Chase would be a game changer, no doubt. His presence would elevate Geno Smith's effectiveness, boosting EPA per pass to around 0.20 and increasing their aerial efficiency by about 18%. Just imagine Chase lining up on the outside or in the slot, stretching defenses with his speed and route running, forcing safeties to stay home and opening lanes for the run game with Walker, who's already eclipsed 200 rushing yards. This kind of weaponry would make the Seahawks a nightmare for defenses, especially in the playoffs, where matchups are everything. And let's not forget the Seahawks' solid defense. They've been playing well with 20 sacks this season, but adding Chase could turn their play-action game into an absolute nightmare. His history of big plays, 16 touchdowns of 20-plus yards, would complement the team's ability to create mismatches and take shots down the field. The Seahawks have already been dominant on deep routes, and Chase's ability to turn short catches into explosive plays would make them even more dangerous. This tandem of Chase and Lockett, along with Metcalf's physical presence, would form a potent trio that defenses simply couldn't cover evenly. Looking ahead to the playoffs, the odds of the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl would skyrocket. Currently, their odds are around plus 1,200, but with Chase on board, bookmakers would likely cut that to plus 600 or even lower, especially with the weather conditions expected in the postseason. Chase's ability to perform in clutch moments, combined with Seattle's already strong defense, would make them a formidable contender. Their matchups against NFC powers like the 49ers and Rams would become even more intense, with the Seahawks holding a 28% higher chance of winning those games. It's like stretching the field to the breaking point, forcing opponents to decide whether to double-team DK Metcalf or prioritize Chase. And that kind of headache for defenses could be just what Seattle needs to push over the top. Now, imagine the scene at Lumen Field if Chase makes his way to Seattle. The energy would be electrifying. Fans would be chanting, the noise level would hit new heights, and the team would be riding a wave of momentum heading into the playoffs. A trade like this could turn the Seahawks into a true dynasty team, reminiscent of the Montana Rice era in San Francisco, but with a modern twist. The combination of Smith and Chase could become a new version of Montana and Rice, where every game feels like a Super Bowl preview. The city of Seattle, known for its passionate and loyal fans, would be treated to a team that's not just competing but dominating, bringing home that coveted Lombardi trophy. Of course, this kind of blockbuster move wouldn't come without its risks. The Seahawks would need to make some salary cap space, and there's always the question of how Chase would adjust to a new team, new system, and new city. But with the Seahawks' current trajectory and their aggressive approach to building a championship team, it's not out of the realm of possibility. General Manager John Schneider has shown he's willing to make bold moves before, and if the opportunity arises to bring in a player of Chase's caliber, you can bet he'll consider it seriously. The upside is tremendous. A true game-changing receiver that elevates the entire offense, creates mismatches, and makes the Seahawks' Super Bowl aspirations even more tangible. Now I want to hear from you, Seahawks fans. What's your take on this potential trade? Do you think Cincinnati would really pull the trigger? Would you be excited to see Chase in that Seahawks uniform, terrorizing defenses and helping bring that Lombardi home? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion means everything to us and to the Seahawks. Remember, I'll be back soon with even more updates, rumors, and insights, so stay tuned. This season is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory, and with moves like this, the Seahawks could be heading straight to the top. So buckle up, stay loud, and let's keep the Seahawks spirit alive. We're entering a new chapter, and it's going to be legendary.